Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today I'll be answering some questions related to moving to Spain. Brief introduction, as I mentioned, I'm Victor. I work at a company called Viv Europe where we help people to move to Spain. Most of our clients, they are Americans, so these questions, they will be answered based on the fact that most of our audience, they are Americans. Very basic questions, I would say, so it's nice to cover them because then you have a first understanding on what it is to move to Spain. I have my tablet with me because I probably will forget some of those questions, so I have a clue with me. And the first one is, I can tell you by far the most popular and the most basic one. That is, what visa do I need to move to Spain? Short answer, there are many visas depending on your personal situation, on your profile. There may be one visa that's specific addressed to you, such as the student visa, the entrepreneurial visa, the non-lucrative visa. There are really many visas. I can cover the most popular ones. First one is the non-lucrative visa. This one is aimed on those who want to live in Spain, so they want to settle a residency here in Spain, but they don't rely on active income. They don't rely on their professional situation to live here, so they can rely on some passive income, such as pensions, rentals, and other type of passive income. And that's because they won't be even allowed to work while living in Spain. So they need to have a very substantial situation in a way that they will be receiving passive income as long as they are living here in Spain. That won't how can I say this? That won't mean that they will have to rely on passive income for all of the time, because there is the possibility to change visa types while in Spain. But if they stay in the non-lucrative visa, they will actually need to rely only on the income that comes from abroad. Okay, so most people who apply for this one are retirees, people that have rents, also that they receive any sort of continuous source of income, such as royalties, for example, dividends, and more. It is a very popular one, as I mentioned. Many retirees, they apply for this visa. So this is one of the visas that I want to call attention for. And the second one is the digital nomad visa. The digital nomad is, on the contrary, aimed for those who are actively working for a employer, or even they can be contractors, but the source of the professional relationship, it is outside Spain. So it can be in America, for example. If you are employed in America and you can work remotely, then that's the case for you to apply for the digital nomad visa, because you'll be able to live in Spain and continue working for your current employer, and of course living in Spain, paying taxes in Spain, contributing to the Spanish social security, but living in Spain. When we talk about taxes, social security, it's always very important to have a one-on-one to understand your specific situation, because it's very hard to give a generic approach on those topics. But usually the situation is that you'll be required to pay tax in Spain. Okay, so second question is, what are the financial requirements for the digital nomad visa and for the non-lucrative visa. Starting for the non-lucrative visa, there is one reference basis in Spain called the IPREM. So for the non-lucrative visa, you need to receive 4 of these reference-based. That will be about 2,400 euros per month. So if you receive 2,400 euros per month, you should be able to meet this threshold and apply for the non-lucrative visa. Again, this one is related to your passive income. So the amount you receive should be about pension, rents, as I mentioned before. So it's really important for you to provide this information because you won't be able to actively work while living in Spain. Now for the digital nomad visa, the amount is not the same, but it's very close. It's 2,646 euros per month. The math here is a bit different. It's not related to the IPREM. Now it's related to the SMI or the Spanish minimum wage. So you need to receive 200% of the SMI, which is about 2,646 euros. So this is active income. This is your salary. This is your overall income. If you want to add people to your application, for instance, your spouse, your kids, so there's an additional math to do, but very briefly on a very simple basis. For the first dependent, you would have to add to that amount 850 euros per month, and for any additional dependent, 283 euros per month. It's not easy to memorize those amounts because they change from each year because there is a change on the minimum wage. So this is roughly the amount you need to prove you receive on a monthly basis to apply for the digital nomad visa in Spain, which is, I can say, the one that's trending at the moment. People, they like the digital nomad visa for many reasons. One of them is that it is one where you can apply for this visa while living in Spain. And this procedure of applying for a visa in the country, it is very rare. Few countries allow this possibility. Most of them, they will force you to apply, forcing quote, but they will have this structure in which you apply for the visa in your home country. So in America, in Canada, and not in Spain. So this is an exception. And one of the reasons why people, they do like the digital nomad visa a lot. Let's move on to the next question. Can I work remotely in Spain? As I mentioned, if you apply for the digital nomad visa, yes, you can work remotely. You can stay in Spain and use Spanish public services while you live there and while you work to an employer from abroad or clients located abroad, but never in Spain. Okay, your employer cannot be a Spanish one if you apply for the digital nomad visa. As for the non-lucrative, no, it's really not possible to work in any kind of work if you apply for the for the non-lucrative visa. Okay, how long can I stay in Spain with those visas? So base rule is that when you apply for a visa outside Spain, just like you need to do when you apply for the non-lucrative visa, you will receive a 1-year residence permit, and then you can renew it for 2 years plus 2 years. And when you complete 5 years, you can apply for the permanent residence permit. So usually you are gonna be going through 2 renewals until you can apply for the permanent digital nomad. For the permanent non-lucrative visa, in this case, it will be a residence permit. In 10 years living in Spain, you can apply for the citizenship. Okay, so it's 10 years in Spain. For most cases, you would be able to apply for the citizenship. Digital nomad visa. So for this one, you can also apply from your home country. You don't need to apply in Spain, but if you do, your permit will be valid for 1 year, just like the non-lucrative visa, and then you renew for again in 2 years, and then again in 2 years, and 5 years you apply for the permanent residence permit. There's one exception. If you apply for the digital nomad within Spain, your permit is valid for 3 years. So this is the best case scenario. You will receive a permit valid for longer. So this is also one of the reasons why this digital nomad visa is so popular in Spain. Next question. What documents are needed for those visas? They can change, depending on the visa type you choose to apply to. There are some documents that are, no matter what type of visa you apply, you need to get them. Basic ones, so the passport, the photos, the criminal records from your home country, medical certificate, proof of financial means. So those are documents you will need to submit no matter the type of visa you choose to apply to. Some documents need to be apostilled or legalized, just like if you are applying with a family member. So let's say you're applying with a spouse, you need to provide the apostilled and translated marriage certificate. Same goes with the kids, so they need to provide their birth certificate, also translated and apostilled. I mentioned already the criminal records. You need to have a clean criminal records from your home country, and there are more documents as we go. There are specific documents, as I mentioned. So if you apply for the digital nomad visa, you will need to prove that you have a professional relationship with your employer or with your clients. You have a service agreement between you and your clients. Those documents, they need to be translated in most cases, and they need to prove you have a stable financial situation, you have credentials to work in the field of your activity. So there is, I would say, a very strict analysis on the documents you provide when they are related to a professional situation. Okay, just to avoid situations where people are trying to scam, or so they are sure that you have the documents. As for the non-lucrative visa, the documents that show you received the passive income on a regular basis. Okay, always important to provide at least 3 months of bank statements showing the money coming to your bank account. And the more documents you provide, the better. So you want to have a very strong process. So when working with us, we are very strict. We are very conservative in the, with the documents checklist. But yeah, so the Spain, despite all of the goodies related to moving to Spain, the process can be a little bit tricky. So always recommend having someone to guide you, to help you during the process. Another question, do I need private health insurance? Yes, you do need private health insurance. Spain wants to make sure that if anything happens to you while in Spain, you'll have coverage, so you can go to a private medical center or private hospital to work on your healthy situation. Okay, so it should be a full covered health insurance. for at least 1 year. That doesn't mean you won't be able to use the public service. You will. As soon as you receive your permit, you can apply for the health number in Spain and use public service, but nevertheless, you also need a private health insurance, at least for the visa application. So moving to the next one, what happens after I arrive in Spain? So that's a good question, because unlike Portugal, for example, you won't need to provide information about the place where you are gonna be living in Spain. You won't have to rent an apartment before your visa application, but you will have to do it after you receive the visa when in Spain. Very briefly, when you move to Spain and when you settle in Spain, when you find a place to live, you are gonna go through a process called empadronamiento, where you will let the local town hall you will inform that you were living in that specific region. So this is first thing to do is to get your empadronamiento. Then you will apply for the permit itself. We call it TIE, so it's T for Tarjeta de Identidade Estrangeiro. So this one is your local ID, let's say like this, and it will allow you to live there in Spain for the upcoming years. What else? So in this one, this tarjeta you get in the national police. In Spain, there are some specific rules depending on where you decide to live. So in some cases, the place where you apply for the TIE is the national police. This one, can my family move with me? As I mentioned, yes, just keep in mind that you have to provide evidence that you have financial means to support the whole family. But yes, you can apply as a family unit, and all of you will be able to move to Spain at the same time. So those are some of the most popular questions we received. I plan to do this Q&A more often so you understand a little bit more about moving to Spain. Here in Viv Europe, we help people to navigate this process, so you won't have to struggle with documents, with time frames, with specifics about the process. We can do that for you, and it will be a pleasure having you as our client. Thank you. See you in the next video.